want to hit rewind. Because you briefed over your background. You was in the Marines and so forth, and you said 12 to 13 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you were serious. Like, what made you so serious about like your career and so forth? Like, peel back how you got this sort of mindset of thinking so big, right? Where did this come from? Why were you so serious early on? And help us understand that piece of it. And then we're going to continue to march on along this journey because this is very impressive. Very, very impressive, sir.
Thank you. The reason why I've always been so serious is because since I from Miami, I've always seen while I was going through high school, there was always a different way of people treating me versus my counterparts. For example, when I was in high school, the guidance counselor treated the white kids a little bit different, a lot different than they treated me. When in reality, if you're looking at it pound for pound, I was just as smart, if not smarter than all of them, right? I was in honors class, I was in advanced and AP courses in high school, yet I didn't get any attention, right? All these students, they're talking to a guidance counselor about going to college, and no one is approaching me, telling me anything about this. So I said to myself, well, I want to be somebody too when I grow up. It looks like I don't get the attention that I'm looking for, any guidance. If that's the case, I'm going to have to do it myself. Right. So one of the things that I realized was that I may not be able to get the scholarship when my grades, again, was just as high as any other students that I went to high school with. The guidance counselors didn't talk to me until the end when it was too late, and only to find out where if I wanted to go to college, I had to start talking with universities by the time I was in junior in high school, not wait until I was a senior. So all these things were adding up, and I said, you know what? It looks like no one is going to help me. I'm going to do it myself. So I started looking around, and I see that there's one route if I take, it may be risky, but I may be able to get everything and then some. And that was the military, right? And so I took that route. And so when I signed for the military, I did get a couple of scholarships at the end because I was a good soccer player and my grades were good. I had to go to Arizona State. And my parents couldn't afford to pay the rest of the tuition. It wasn't a full scholarship. So I told my mom that I was going to join the Marines. So through that time, when I was a young man, my mind was pretty much set, right? I don't know how to explain this because some people have it. Some people have that they're wired in a way where you know what you need to do to get ahead. You don't need any push. So I was one of those young kids that didn't need any push. Even when I got into the military, right? Here's follow on this story. When I got to the Marines, then I was homesick, right? I really wanted to leave and go back home. So the drill instructor looked at me and said, do you want to stay a loser or do you want to become one of us and wear this uniform? And I was this close from getting discharged and sent back home. It was one day we had to do some exercise and see who could run the fastest and for the 3 miles. So that day when my bag was packed to be sent home, so I started running as fast as I possibly could. And I finished a 3-mile run in about 15 minutes and 48 seconds. And the drill instructors looked around and said, is this the same kid we're going to send home? They called me back. They said, you can stay and stay here and become somebody. Just stop thinking back home. Stop being homesick. Since that day, I never forget that day. And everything clicked. The fact that I wanted to become somebody. The fact that I know that I had to do it myself. I never looked back that morning when I ran 3 miles in 15 minutes and 48 seconds.
Wow. That's moving, man.
Yeah.
That's moving, Ray. That is absolutely moving. Now, okay. So you got to tell me this one. I just want to drill into that story because I think that's a fabulous story, and it actually it really tells a story about a lot of things. But I want to drill back into that story. Why were you running so fast? Like, were you running so fast to get out of there, or were you running so fast just to prove yourself that you belonged?
I was angry.
Okay.
That morning, I was angry because I looked around. Some of the other Marines, recruits, they were talking about me that I was about ready to go home. There's that drill instructor, which is the grunt. There's a goon instructor where his entire life existence is to bully you, to scream in your face, to really make your life miserable, to punish you psychologically. He was looking at me, and he says, "You're going home today. That's where you belong. You belong home today." And I said, "No, I'm not." Actually, to add to the story, I ended up graduated #1 in my class.
Wow. Wow. That is, that is,
Yes.
that is absolutely fantastic. So, Ray, continue on down that path, right? So one of the things I'm hearing you say is you have to mentally say, I'm going to do it. And you have to mentally say, I'm going to do it for myself. And I have to do it for myself. You had an opportunity to go back home to be like everybody else, which more than likely everybody else is probably doing okay, average, right? But you said, I wanted to be above average. I'm going to stick this out. I think a lot of people face that as well, too, because in my coaching sessions that I have with the younger individuals, a lot of them want to separate themselves from the people that they've been around for a long time. And as much as they try to go forward, it hurts them to separate themselves from the people who are average, who aren't going anywhere, right? You are basically saying, you know what? You have to believe in yourself and do it, and just separate yourself completely from the people who are average. And even if that means by moving and even going to places like the Marines, right? Where you're forced to do it.
Yeah. So this was actually that part. So when you go to be trained in the Marines, you get to be trained for 80 days and 80 nights. Any Marines that actually anyone who's been in the Marine Corps will know that. There's even a song in my head about those 80 days and 80 nights. So at day 30, this is when you make a decision whether you're gonna stay or go. And that's where I was. Once I turned that switch, it looks like everyone around me, they were walking, running, exercising, studying slower than I was. Even at the rifle range, I was aiming better. I'm telling you, there's something that came to my mind and say, there is no way in heck I'm gonna go back to Florida to work at McDonald's. There's no way. It's not gonna happen. So that came to my mind, and I also realized I won't be able to go to college. I don't have money. The one scholarship that I had, I turned it down out of Arizona State, which is a half scholarship. My mom doesn't have any money to send me to school. So what is it I'm going to do? So then all these things started to play in your head, and you mentally, you get yourself in a position where quitting is not an option. Matter of fact, you don't even think about quitting. And this is when, as a Marine, I became almost mentally invincible, right? It was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be better than all of you. And there's nothing you can do to make me not be better than you. So it's something that is, if you can, anyone can do it, right? You have to have that mindset and that fortitude to say, I know this is here for me. And if I want it, no one can stop me from reaching and grabbing.
Yep. I love that. I absolutely love that, because many days and many times, even though you've heard from your guidance counselors early on that, or you were treated different by your guidance counselors early on.
Yeah.
Right. Many people would use that as an excuse to the day. Right. I don't belong. I can't get here. I don't see too many people doing this stuff. So I'm going to continue to be average. You said, you know what? No, I'm going to find a way. I'm
Yeah.
going to find a way. And that's what I really like to talk about on this channel as well, too, is that, guys, everybody faces some sort of resistance,
Yeah.
whether they're in their career or in their life, right? I mean, like, I face it, I continue to face it. And it has a lot of times, it could be because of your gender, it could be because of your ethnicity, it could be because of your religion, it could be because of your race. Absolutely. But if you talk to most people, they're going to have some sort of resistance that they faced before in their life, right?
Yes.
It's for
Yes.
you to say, you know what? F all that. I'm going to push ahead and I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better for myself. I'm going to be better for my family. I'm going to be better for whoever I need to be better for. Now, you're in the Marines. You graduate number one. You start your career off into, to talk about it. How did you get into tech? Right? That's the
Okay.
piece of it I want you to get into. And then we're going to, expand to that, how you got to that point where you got to the video, man. Because, obviously working in the tech, I work in the tech, right? I've been in the tech 17 years, right?
Yeah.
Do very well for myself. But I've never thought about building, a center in a different country to support that country. That is
Okay.
next level stuff.